Live? All right. Welcome to the new episode of our podcast today. Videocast, I guess, right? We have a special guest today, staging owner of the staging company, Hallway Staging. We will talk about the importance of staging and in general why staging is needed for listings, and a lot of agents are overlooking that importance, which it's a big mistake, which costs their clients a lot of money.
Welcome, Kim. Yeah, I'm glad you accepted. Our invitation today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for asking me here.
And welcome. So tell us a little bit about your company. What do you do?
Okay, great. So I've been in the real estate realm for some time now, and I've always been really probably ultra focused on what exactly a house needs to actually bring buyers to the table. And that's been something that's kind of, rang true for me over the years. And so I wanted to, have some more tools in my toolbox that I could use. So I had an opportunity to get involved with a staging company and ended up purchasing that staging company. And now it's enabled me to actually help others in a way that I wasn't actually able to help before. So it's a partnership. I believe wholeheartedly it's a partnership with the agent, with the sellers. And when you have that trifecta partnership, you really can actually reach your goals a lot faster with better results. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So what is your process when you look into, like, let's say, Ami introduced me to you because I had a listing in Rockland, for example. And so what is your process from the time I call you to the time it's actually fully done? And I can pull up the listing in a little bit and make the presentation how it looks right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
So what is your process then?
So my process is to really get to know what the agent's goals are, right? And the agent is the conduit between the seller and myself. So it's really important, again, that relationship. So I need to understand, obviously, one, where's the property? What kind of a location is it actually in? Because we need to understand, is it in a 55 and older community? Is it in a gated community? Is it, what other amenities are around there? Is it an older home? Is it a newer home? What style of home is it? Square footage is important. So what I like to do is I actually like to set up an appointment and go through and do a preview of the property. That preview can be done with or without the agent. I know agents are really busy as well. So I would like to actually set that appointment up, go by the property myself, and then from there I can give the agent or the seller a much better sense of what I feel would be needed in the home. So.
Right. But what kind of objections? I know a lot of people are saying, hey, staging is not needed. I don't need staging. I don't need to pay extra money for staging. And not only sellers, but unfortunately, a lot of agents do the same, right? So is it right or wrong?
I would agree. I think the agents, because, I come across all walks of life, right? I actually talked to an agent yesterday that really didn't think that staging was going to help her listing. And, there's different reasons you stage, but staging's not the only factor. You've got to make sure that you have the property priced correctly. You've got to make sure that the home is clean and well represented. You have to make sure that you're in a good location. I mean, there's some locations that don't lend itself to as many buyers as other locations. So it's really important that you focus in on, okay, what are the positives about the property? And so in some cases, I think the agents that are utilizing more staging services are really in the top 5%, I would say. They're really hitting their marks in, and selling transactions and doing a lot of more transactions. Because they recognize the fact that staging does help. Staging will more than likely bring you higher offers. They'll bring you offer more buyers quickly into the door. They'll attract your buyers and try to keep them, and buyers can visualize a little bit more about where they can live. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we do that in staging. But there's lots of factors, and I'd say the ones that are skeptical are the ones that are just looking at the dollar amount they're going to have to spend for staging. But what they don't realize is they're going to get that back. I think the National Association of Realtors has actually put out a lot of data, and it said that staging typically gets them 1 to 5% higher in offers. So on a $500,000 home, that's $25,000 up to,
Yep.
5 to 25,000. That your 5,000 is going to more than cover your staging in this area.
Right.
So it also shows that it actually brings in buyers more rapidly, right? So it's bringing more visual eyeballs to that listing. And let me just kind of back up for a second. A lot of our buyers nowadays, they're actually finding those listings online, right? Often, I think the responsibility of the agent has changed a little bit with all the online presence. So your buyers often are looking at that property online first and then letting you know, hey, I want to go see this property. So the buyers are actually you need to visually your property needs to be visually attractive to them to get them in the door, right?
Right.
So once they're in the door, then they're going to see all that beautiful staging in there, and that's when you want them to visualize themselves being there, and wow them, right? So.
Yeah, I know you staged one of my listing, and that sold for 8% above the market price. So, but it's a combination of probably staging and the home bits what we did. So it's like you said, it's not only staging, but unfortunately, it's not black and white. You can say, hey, do this, and you're gonna get this, because the only way how we can probably prove if we have two totally identical houses in the same street,
right.
One is not staged, one is staged, and that would be probably the proof. Right?
Exactly.
They need to be on the market at the same time. They need to be in the same condition.
Yeah.
The same amenities and the same.
We should test that hypothesis sometime.
Yeah. So this is one of the listing stage in Brooklyn. We're pending right now, and then. So for a property like this, walk us through what did you do for this property, for example?
Yes, so when we originally walked into this property and did that preview visit that I was talking to you about, I met with the sellers there, a lovely couple. They had a lot of furniture in their home. Right now you're seeing a lot of open floor space, which is intentional. But they had like this huge sectional couch that kind of blocked off from the door. They had like a dining room table that was really large. So they had a lot of furniture, and they were living in their home. And I'm not trying to be judgmental or critical of people, the way that they want to live. But when you're staging or when you're wanting to sell a home and attract buyers, you have to put your personal lifestyle in your home a little bit to the side and depersonalize your space and neutralize the space so that people feel like they can live there in the surroundings. So when I walked in here, we knew we wanted to add, we try to add sometimes a little bit of pop of color. We were playing off of some of the backyard items that they had and they left behind for staging. But as you can see, it's real light, it's real airy. We like the windows to be, open to let the natural light in. We try to play with natural materials as well. So they had actually painted their cabinets, and they were a beautiful dusty gray, and so it actually I thought it actually looked really nice when we got done. Again, this is a bedroom that we made an office out of. There's so many people that are wanting to work from home nowadays, and often I'll try to put the office at a bedroom that's looking out to the front, because you're going to get good natural light. You're also going to be, a lot of people want to watch what's going on, see the outside.
That's usually the place where people are going to use as an office anyway.
Right,
So.
right. So we did that. But again, I want you to just take note of all the floor space. It makes the home look really large and
This one
spacious.
is 1700 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So which room did you do for this house? I know the answer, but do you remember which room did you do for this one? I think you did a master.
We did the master suite, we did the office, and then we
Living
always
room.
do the bathrooms. We did living room, and then I worked with the sellers to leave their outdoor furnishings behind. If I remember right, this is a 0 lot
Yeah, they
home.
had a cute little backyard with little
Yes,
screens
and so
in
they
it.
had this beautiful fire pit and this nice lounge outdoor, and I said, leave that, that's beautiful. It gives the homeowners just that much more space to think about in the backyard. They had that screen up, which was great because it actually filled that wall. So if that screen wasn't there, you'd have a blank wall, and I probably would have wanted to put something there.
Right.
So it was great that they had that. So yeah, it actually ended up, it was a very nice home. It was a very nice home.
Is
So
it on the market right now?
But it's pending.
Pending?
Yeah, pending.
How long? Within what time? How many days?
This one, because of the size of the backyard, people walk in, they love the home, they love the staging, but because it's such a small backyard, we're out time finding the right buyer. So we had at least 5 offers on this property, and 2 back down for financing. But
Please.
the last one, it seems to be okay. So
Yeah, and that's
And that's
knocking
great.
on the door. I don't
yeah,
know.
and that I mean, of course, that's no scientific fact, but
But it-
staging did help.
Oh, it does
Yeah.
help because
Yeah.
you bringing now the sellers is completely out of the picture for this one, and they're just kind of showing the true value of the property.
Right.
What was the other
Right.
property you had on the market with Kim, with the staging?
Arliss, but that's not you cannot find it now. So
It's off.
Yeah. There's one, actually there's another one, 4216 Horgan Way. I actually I have a agent client that I do a lot, I do all of her staging for her. She is very active, she's very busy. I've probably staged 6 of her properties in the last couple months.
Nice.
And I can say outside of one of them, she's had offers the same day or within 5 days of listing all of those properties.
Yeah.
So it really does. It really does.
It is the reason why new builders create the model homes, and
Yes.
model homes are staged too. So you don't go to the model home with empty rooms,
Right.
right? So
No, you're
it's
correct.
definitely they see the benefits. A lot of agents, brokers see the benefits. So if you're not using staging already, so I would highly encourage you
And
to start.
thank you
using.
for bringing up the model home issue. So we've staged definitely some model homes. We had some in Roseville that we've staged a couple at, and then I actually just came from a preview for a model home staging. Model homes, when you actually look at like bigger companies, the Lennars and the
Yeah.
KB Homes and
Home,
what. They have a huge corporation and they have a big system, right, that they work with. So they're kind of an anomaly to me. But the smaller developers that have 10, 15, 23 homes, they are really looking for some help and some advice, and they don't want to go out. They don't have the same team to go out and actually purchase all of the furnishings, which is what the big corporations
That's
do.
usually lifted behind afterwards.
Right, and they're spending tens of thousands of dollars for those homes, right? And then what do they do afterwards? They just sell off to consignment stores all of their furnishings, right?
Or
So-
sometimes they
the
sell the model home with the furniture.
Right, right, exactly.
So they don't have to move anything. They
So
just,
in the case of the smaller boutique, developers, if you will, they are really looking for, help. And so we can go in, and it actually relieves them of having to do anything. So we can go in, stage the home, and then just do, a rent back for those, as long as they want to keep the home and until they sell it. And then sometimes we move our furnishings to the next model,
Right.
So, so that's really important. And you bring up a really good point. Like it's really, really important for them in the model homes for people to visualize how it can look. So
True.
not
It's
every,
all about
and modern home usually tend to have one-off property like the one I saw show on for Walklin. Once it's set and done, it doesn't have any use, right? But once a modern home, if you do like a 5 or 6 identical property, then it can be used for like a year or 6 months or just
Right.
an extended period of time.
exactly. And it's, it's a win-win for everyone, right? Because they're selling different lots for that model, right, in different places, and then they can just use that, have that one model. So
right.
it is a really good. I think it's a less expensive way for them to do business. Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what typically rooms are you staging in typical listings? I mean,
Good question.
Yeah.
So it's really important, and 99% of the time we're staging the common areas. So that's the living room, the family room, the entryway. Sometimes there's a dining room that's separate from maybe a breakfast nook that might be closer to the kitchen. So we typically stage both of those. We accessorize the kitchen nicely, and bathrooms. We definitely do bathrooms because it just it's simple little touches that actually just make it feel more visually appealing. So those are the main ones, and the master, primary suite, master bedroom. And so those are pretty much the package. And then there are some sellers. I had one last month that actually was really interested in staging the entire home. So it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. He wanted to do the other bedrooms as well. So we did one as a bedroom, and then the second one we did as a kid's room, like a playroom. So we try to switch it up so that people can get some different ideas on how it can be played out.
Yeah.
We also did an office in that house. So it already had an office. A lot of times we'll take one of the bedrooms and turn it into an office. But in this case, they had an office area already. So we actually took that room and did that. I mean, you could do, something as an equipment, or a workout room if you wanted
Right.
to. You could do a baby room with a crib and all of those accessories too. There's different ways that you can approach that. So we try to, if somebody wants to do the full-on staging, then we try to do, one a bedroom, one, something else. I was also going to mention that one of the new trends, I know, I just wanted to share this, a new trend that I'm hearing from agents requesting is more and more want to do outdoor living spaces. A lot of us enjoy our backyards or want to enjoy our backyards more. And when you have a backyard that's inviting, you want to, portray that as a very nice, cozy, serene place. So we have had a request, and we have actually been purchasing more and more outdoor furniture for that reason as well. So
Nice. Yeah, that's probably part of working from home.
Right.
Trend. So
Yeah.
home office plus outdoor.
Exactly.
Outdoor living.
Well, and in the Sacramento Valley, right, we have a lot of people with pools as
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah.
so that poolside, experience is really nice too. So
What do you think would be a common pitfall or mistake sellers need to avoid for staging? What kind of mistake do you think we should avoid? We'll say, hey, I call you, I need a staging. What do you think we should avoid to do? Is there anything, red flags or any ideas,
Yeah. So off the top of my head, this goes back to kind of my thought process from years back. I feel like, okay, our buyers are looking online, they're finding a property, they like how it looks inside. Or maybe they're just driving around in their car in a neighborhood that they like and they see a for sale sign outside. So maybe they haven't even seen the pictures of the inside yet. So I think it's really critical, and this is where the partnership with the agent and the seller comes in, is I think it's really critical that curb appeal is really thought about. Because, you want to have your lawns mowed, you want to have things, if you can, your shrubberies, groomed up as much as you can. Have a nice entry mat at the front door, maybe a couple plants. But overall, just have it like looking inviting, because if you don't have an inviting front door on the outside, people are going to wonder and go, maybe they didn't take good care of their home, or, maybe the inside is not going to be what we think it is because the outside looks so bad. So I think it starts at curb appeal. I think it starts online through those pictures, and I think it also starts at curb appeal when you have people just doing the drive-by.
Yeah, pictures are number one, because if they're bad, so nobody will be willing to see the house. And then when they come to the house, like you said, if curb appeal is bad, so it's...
And especially when they're done showing the house, they're hanging out outside. They are talking outside onto the lawn and with the agent for like 20 minutes sometimes.
That's a really
and
good
then
point.
They just see the house in the back, they're talking and they just still see the house, and then just say, hey, look at this stuff, and then it's very good to have a very good curb appeal for the house, and especially the front entry, and then having and inviting, and when you come in, obviously the staging helps to keep them inside.
I agree, because it can be a domino effect. It can be a domino effect to the bad side, to the wrong side, and it can be a domino effect to the good side.
True.
Right? True. So, I think that's you bring up a really good point. They do hang out there. Yeah.
What was the biggest property you ever staged, if you remember on top of your head?
There's one that's 3,900 square feet. That was the biggest one we've staged. I truly believe, I'm just trying to stay in my lane. I'm not trying to do the multi-million-dollar houses. I can tell you that there are staging companies out there, and I've run into a couple of them, and I give them all the praise and applaud that they deserve, because they spend a lot of money on high-end furnishings for those properties. That's a whole different market. I went into one up in Auburn a couple weeks ago, and it was gorgeous. But we are not in that market. My company's not in that market, because you have really big, heavy furnishings that you're moving around constantly, and we just, that's just not our market that we're after. So we're after, probably up to $1.5 million, we've done. But
which is majority of the market anyway. So,
right? As prices have gone up, everything's we used to look at $1 million houses as really something big and extreme, but now they seem to be pretty common. So, I just try to stay in my lane that way. So that's, and we have a pretty big size warehouse that has a lot of furnishings. And we're trying to churn those furnishings over and making sure that we're staying current and clean. Things get worn out and dirty. We try to clean our stuff often, but we're just trying to get to that agent and that market that we can really help on a moment's notice. I will often get calls today I could get a call and say, hey, I have a property going on the market tomorrow. Can you stage it for us? And sometimes they get lucky and I have an opening, and other times I'm like, okay, I can do it in 2 days, or I can do it in 3 days. But we want to be able to flex for our agents, because that's really, again, the partnership that we want is with the agents and the sellers to help them meet their goals. And it is, takes all three.
What are the most popular colors now? It's keep changing every decade or every few years.
Yeah, right now is I think there's a big home buyers now. A lot of home buyers in their 20s and 30s and
right.
Are on the market, right? Which is fabulous. We all want to be homeowners. So they are minimalists, right? They want simple. They don't want clutter. They want light and airy. They want neutrals. They want textures. They want a natural feel for things. So whether that be, woods or stones or, plants, that's really where the trend is right now, is in the neutral colors. So if a client is going to paint their house before it goes live, I highly recommend, they stick with some neutral colors. There's even a tipping of the scale back to just whites, and there's so many shades of whites out there. Yeah. Greige is also the other common color. It's a combination of beige and gray.
Greige?
Yeah, it's greige. And so that's a really common color right now for people to put in, because a lot of people are still kind of in that gray world, but we're definitely kind of pretty much at the end of that trend, thank goodness. And we're really more back into the neutral colors. The white oaks, the light woods, and those kind of colors. So it's more of a warm, inviting color. So, for those flippers out there, please, move towards those beige colors. It's just so much more warm and inviting than the grays and the especially when you got gray walls and gray floor and gray countertops, and
a little bit too cold.
It's really a cold feel. Yeah, for sure.
Good to know. Very important.
Yeah.
So again, I know the prices are different based on the size of the house and how many rooms you stage, but I would encourage all agents who are willing, who have coming listings, to do the consultation with you. Consultation is free. So,
yes.
And then determine if it's beneficial. I'm pretty sure in 99% cases it's beneficial, unless the house is in distress, so maybe
right,
fire damaged or whatever. So then you don't stage every house, so,
right,
and that's a different market. But any other house, 99% of the market, so it will be beneficial to stage because of more money potentially in the seller's pocket, because you can sell for more money.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that transaction is going to go through a lot more quickly, so that agent's going to have more money in their pocket sooner. Than later. Right. So, but again, it's meeting your goals, and then you're looking really, really good to your sellers, right? And your sellers are going to be talking about you, and that's great referrals for you as well. So it has lots of benefits, and I would encourage, especially like the younger agents that are out there, they look at it, I think sometimes as it's a lot of money, but the ROI, the return on investment, is way beyond what you're spending.
Right.
In most of the cases. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Well, thank you for.
Maybe share your contact information.
I put all the contact information in the description. So.
Okay, that's wonderful. Again, it's Kimberly Lane. I'm at Hallway Staging, and my number is 530-713-5384. And I'd love to consult with you as well. I've got some new programs coming to our staging company that I will be pushing out here in the near future, where we look at just staging, doing some partial staging and working more closely with the sellers on, taking what they have and working with them that way versus, doing a full-on staging and everything in between. So be happy to work with anyone out there.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure.